joining from in the chat. Always nice to hear where folks are calling in from. And thank you everyone for joining. So as I say, we're just going to get some slides up here and then we'll slowly get things started. Okay, folks, welcome. Great to have so many people here. We still have a few people rolling in, but looking like we've got a good amount of people, so we're going to get things started. Going to keep my usual updates quite short so we can get onto things. We've got lots to talk about today. So first off, as always, as you probably already noticed, we are recording and live streaming this session. So if at any point you drop off, you can go ahead and go to our YouTube page to join back in. We also will obviously have the recording up there afterwards, so you can go check it out after the fact. As always, we'll kick off with some company and product updates, and then we'll move into an audience Q&A. Save the chat for some kind of light-hearted back and forth between fellow hosts, and use the Q&A functionality for your questions to the team. That helps us just kind of keep everything organized and make sure we don't miss any questions. When the time comes at the end of the session, you will have the opportunity to raise your hand to ask a question. There is a reaction button at the bottom of your screen. Click that, and then in there is a raise hand button. But we'll get to that at the end of the session. So without further ado, we're going to start today's session off with some growth updates in terms of growth of the team. So Emily, handing over to you.
Oh my goodness, I struggled to find the button for once. Awesome. Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to introduce you guys to a new software engineer who's joining our team. This is Luke. We met him a couple months ago, actually, in Jamaica. We were so excited to bring him on, and he's just started last week. He's joining our core and connectivity team. So Luke, if you could unmute yourself, turn your video on, and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about where you're coming from and what you're going to be working on here at Hospitable.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So I'm Luke. I'm based in England, so I'm joining as a product engineer working on core and connectivity. So kind of a bit of history about myself in terms of development. So I've kind of been developing for about 14 years, developing on products for kind of the last 3 or 4 years. So recently been working on a content operations platform, working in the last kind of year on implementing AI into that platform, just to allow content writers to kind of streamline and improve their content workflow and kind of writing and stuff like that. So hoping to kind of bring some of that knowledge into Hospitable and kind of see how we can improve the AI offering. And then kind of just getting started. I think some upcoming products. I think my initial thing I'm going to be looking at is kind of working with Emily to see how we can introduce parent-child properties into Hospitable. So that should be a fun one. I'm raring to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luke and Emily. Just checking, apparently some people are saying that they can't see our screen properly. Let us know in the chat if you can see the screen share that's happening right now, or at least the speaker. I don't know if that's an isolated case or not. Most people will say it's fine. So maybe try disconnecting and reconnecting for anyone that's had an issue there. Sorry for that interjection. So Vera, now handing over to you for your introduction.
I have managed to unmute myself and also turn on the camera, so you can feel free to react and also, send money my way. This is a very hard thing to do, apparently. Anyway, I am here to introduce the newest member of our sales team, Blue. Very happy to have you, and I'm going to pass it over to Blue to introduce yourself a bit. Blue, you can also unmute, turn on the camera, and tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. It's good to be here in my first town hall. Nice to meet you all. My name is Blue. I'm originally from Malawi, but relocated to Dublin from Portugal. Don't ask me why. Everybody's asking me why. So essentially, I'm here as a sales executive, and I'm here to share the knowledge that I've learned working in SaaS for the last 3 to 4 years and contribute towards the growth and success of the team. So that's it about me.
Thank you very much, Blue and Vera.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Blue. Looking forward to all of the sales we're going to make and working with you as well. PC, I think it's your turn now to take it away.
Yes, and I hope I've managed to basically make that work. Don't see myself now. It's pretty weird. Okay, welcome everyone, and thank you. It seems that so far we've been, we have some good news. We just joined the Inc. 5000 cohort earlier this week. You have received that by email yesterday. We will do a better job next time to mention the first name. So sorry for that. It was a bit funny. So yeah, the Inc. 5000 is basically a cohort of companies that have been selected and vetted by the Inc. magazine based on their actual growth numbers in the last few years. And yeah, some companies that you know have already been featured on that ranking. So some companies like Facebook, Microsoft, Patagonia, and other names have already been having their first national exposure as honorees on the Inc. 5000. So this is great, and we're looking forward to having more badges. It's a bit of vanity, but it helps motivate the team once in a while. Moving over to the next slides is something that I believe is a bit more important and actually is related to your success. And I'm very happy to say that we have finally passed $1 billion of payouts to you, active customers. So it's organized, obviously, all OTA payouts from active customers. And that gives an idea of the scale and growth that we've been experiencing. In January, the average actual number of payouts that we've received, that our customers received together. I wish that would be ours. But no, that's yours. That basically was $140 million. And in the month of July, we experienced a record $210 million. So that's the business that you represent to those OTAs. I would love to basically make sure that you extract every single bit of that payout amount. And we're going to be working on that in the future. Now, I've said that I would not be reporting on anything like support in the past few weeks, but there are some pretty interesting developments that are happening. And so I wanted to spend a few minutes on that and update you on the success and improvements that we've been seeing on that particular area of the business. The first thing is that we're getting closer to 85% of customer satisfaction, which is the objective that we set for ourselves to reach this quarter. 85% may seem a lot, it may seem low. We appreciate that we cannot satisfy everyone, and our customer support team cannot be accountable to making everyone happy all the time. We have constant high quality answers that are reviewed internally, and we are keeping ourselves accountable to that very high standard. And we also have always been experiencing live chat in the past few weeks and months for support during US hours. We don't want to rest on our laurels though. And even though we've already been innovating with our support, we are going to keep recruiting, which is Miles' your cue for moving over to the next slide. Already appreciating the effort of our AI support colleague, Smarty, which is currently closing 28% of conversations. It is I was on support yesterday, and I was really impressed with the quality of answers. So please, even though you may be irked at talking to a chatbot, this one is actually smart and has all the insights from previous conversation from all our for all of our documentation, and we keep improving on that. So it's the best way for you to receive fast support at any single point in time. And for us, it's obviously very compelling because it means it's sustainable, it's reliable. This is a support colleague that's not sick, doesn't need to go on vacation. And honestly, I don't care whether their Smarty is burning out, doing his job. We still need humans, very much so. So we're continuing recruiting with 2 new colleagues in the Asia Pacific region that also will be able to offer, obviously, technical investigation support over late evening hours for the United States. And we'll also be recruiting up to 5 more people to our show live chat. So the current situation is good. It's only going to be improving from that point on, and more importantly, offer a consistent experience over the world and customers worldwide. We keep hearing from our customers, basically, however, how their experience is with our support team, and they want faster support. I mean, I've never heard a customer or anyone, I've never asked myself, oh, could I make it any slower? Just to tell you, really, I've been reviewing tickets where particularly that was escalated. There is a customer in particular, of course, I took the odd value out of the book, but was answered within 2 minutes. and still consider that the biggest pain was actually the waiting time. Because the answer was perfectly on point. 2 minutes of waiting time was still too slow. We want more channels. How many times have we heard about a phone number to be able to call, to interact with the team, escalate something? And obviously, I can appreciate that a lot of our customers may be realtors, maybe on the go, and they don't have the time to sit in front of a laptop to be able to escalate things or record a video. They also cannot necessarily interact with that from a mobile app and a live chat as well. So there needs to be an effort on our side to make sure that we can reach our support team, especially because we know that there are some critical issues that can be impacted by time and our response time in particular. So time to break things and to do something controversial, which is going to be introducing, probably saw the cue and have this conversation over yourself anyway. Next slide, we are going to start introducing support plans. So we want to try and test the waters here. We don't have a specific date, we don't have a timeline, but basically we're curious about what your views would be on launching those different support tiers, acknowledging that not every customer is definitely the same. And so we're going to continue first with award-winning support that we're currently offering, and that will be the default assumption moving forward, which is to top quality support, still very much attached to the customer satisfaction and internal quality support reviews, and as fast as we can live chat with honestly we're not excited about basically reducing or degrading the experience for the overwhelming majority of our customers. And I want to put out, we take that very seriously. We're very competitive about it. You can check on that website called G2 that's currently doing independent reviews and analysis of the companies that are in the space. We're very proud to be consistently the company in the space in vacation rentals management software that is always having the highest satisfaction from our customers. We're not doing that to degrade the experience in any way, but offering a few freebies or a few extras. Let's go to the next slide, which is the first support plan that we would like to consider, which is priority support. So the first one is going to be priority support as it is, which is a way for you guys to be jumping the queue of other customers. All your conversations will then be marked as a priority, which means our support team will be answering those tickets first, which means a certain assurance that depending on the load, we'll be answering them very fast. We'll also want to experiment another channel, which would be offering support over by WhatsApp, to be an exclusive channel to send us messages as you are on the go and directly interact with the support team without having to go over multiple apps and live chat and open a new conversation going through a bot. You will be priority support and having direct access to that particular channel. You would also, as you know, WhatsApp, be able to record voice messages that are on the go and give that access directly to the team so that they can start doing their work of investigating. And of course, you've already read the last line of this slide, which is inbound phone support. We don't have actual plans right now for offering inbound phone support, but you'll be the first to know when we're launching it by joining this support plan. The idea is that for us, we would love to be able to know how many people are serious and interested about this support and inbound phone support capacity. So that's a way to experiment. Now it's going to be coming at a certain cost to be able to filter, especially the people that can have access to that feature. And so the pricing, that's the next line, will be starting at $10 for up to 2 active properties. So if you currently have up to 2 active properties, you're probably paying around $40 per month. And we'll be offering that priority support for an extra $10 per month. Obviously, the ability to downgrade whenever you're unhappy about it. Then if you're a property manager or a greater amount of property, the pricing will scale depending on the number of property for just $1 extra per active property, recognizing that the more properties you manage, the more likely you're going to have questions about our product. There is a second or third plan now, which is going to be the VIP priority support, which is going to be a bit of a different flavor. You are going to be experiencing the priority support by default like everyone, but you also will be having access to our product engineering and support teams directly where we work, which is Slack, and this particular Avenger Slack channel. We also be receiving company updates, monthly investor updates about the growth of the company, quarterly meetups between people that are joining that particular group too, because they are going to be highly qualified. I can tell you that from experience. And we're also providing you more updates on company projects. And yeah, you will also have privileged access to this little thing, which is basically my phone, and having direct access to my WhatsApp. So if there is any kind of escalation or insights, I will be on the receiving end. This is not necessarily a feature. I have to warn you about that. Now, what does it take to be joining the VIP priority support? That's seen on the next slide. There is actually no extra cost. It's going to be invitation only, but it's going to be reserved for a very specific cohort of people who are really believers in our company because, for example, they have the chance of being investors and they can have already been investing $5,000. So the reality is that this is a thing that already is existing. We already have an Avengers channel, not shared my Slack, my WhatsApp so far, but not sure they would probably want to use it, to be honest. So if you are an investor, host tokens, you will basically be able to have access to that priority support for free. And you will also have access to that VIP priority support if you have been using our referral program. And I've already I've referred more than 5 accounts. So that means it's accessible to everyone for people who are willing to recommend us and willing to put a bit of themselves on the line as well. So we want to support you and obviously be there for you when you need us at the most. So that is the end for the presentation of the support plans. This is what it looks like. As you can see, this is the best I could do in a limited time. You can see the different options. Award-winning support will be included. Priority support as for an extra monthly fee, which will give you priority support and access to WhatsApp support, and also a VIP support option that that basically offers you more for qualified investors and referrals. Now, and referrers of Hospitable. Now, I wanted to ask you about a poll and check basically the waters, if that's worth dedicating more time on this and offering priority support and starting to work towards inbound phone support. So you see the question now on your screen, what would be your preferred support plan option? You are totally okay to say the current support team was already award-winning, did we mention that? Is fine for your needs. Or you are really serious about getting fast response time and having access to support on the go. Obviously, this is still including live chat and email, priority support with WhatsApp and phone, and VIP priority support. That means you are an investor, really a strong advocate for a company, and then you will have access to this, or we would like to have access to this in coming weeks. Let you a bit of time to answer. Thank you, Miles, for starting the poll.
No worries, that number's still ticking up, so still a few people answering. Just let it hang for a second longer. Okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think it's kind of averaging out now, so I'll hit end poll there.
Okay, thank you. I think you can stop and share the results.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect. So for 69%, nice. I have, it's legally required. So you would stick to a live chat and email support. 20% of our customers would prefer working on, would look to priority support, and 11%, so you see the number is same as me, that's 7 people out of 61 that have answered, out of 143 participants, would go with VIP priority support. Thank you for being investors and thank you for being advocates of our company. So yeah, that's actually is exactly the industry standard. You can look into Patrick Campbell and his analysis on based on Profitwell. It always says that there are 20% of your customers that are willing to pay for priority support, exactly as I wrapped it, just add a bit of an extra feature with WhatsApp or other channels, and more importantly, mark this as a conversation. So it's very interesting that this can be achieved still at Hospitable because the profile of customers is not exactly the same. We're working really with individual owners with large B2B corporations. So thank you for that. I'm not done, sadly. I have another thing to talk about because I touched on this very briefly, and which is providing an update quickly on our host token. And I appreciate that our audience is always changing, so you may not have heard about that in recent weeks. So we've done a bit of a thing in the past few days, actually, Vera did, and thank you very much for that. There are a lot of companies in the space that says they are customers first and customers first. Doesn't matter how many hundreds of millions they've raised from private equity, the customer comes first. And whether the founders are basically buying real estate all over the place in Toronto or Jerusalem or anyway, Tel Aviv, more probably, that's basically irrelevant. You have to trust us. The customer comes first. You don't have to trust me on knowing that the customer comes first because they are stakeholders of the company. They are shareholders. And it's quite unique in the space as an ongoing opportunity. So I wanted to give you a bit of a rundown of what's currently happening there for a token for host investors. The value of the token that was launched, I think 18 months ago, is really has been growing by 24%. And starting from $5, now it's increasing to 6.22, and there has been a little bit of an acceleration over the past few weeks. So that means early investors, early adopters, and early believers into this particular investment are basically already seeing the value of the asset grow quite significantly. So our largest investor, I think, has already like $400,000 worth of those tokens. Can move on to the next slide, obviously making sure that you understand that when you invest into the host token, you actually invest into the actual company. And you've seen the host token growing by 24%. This is absolutely not in line with the actual growth of a business. Now, if you are in the short-term rental space, you probably heard the word arbitrage opportunity. I find that this is one that's particularly interesting. We've recently passed $7 million annual run rate, annual recurring revenue. So that means if we stop growing right now, we'll still be making $7 million in the next 12 months. And we are very much aiming to keep on accelerating that growth. And maybe the VIP support plan would help a little bit, if I'm honest. But the thing is, you see a lot of consolidation, a lot of transactions happening in the industry. And if you believe in us and you advocate for us, that can be something that you can reconsider because it's now reaching a point of maturity. We still basically believe that there is a significant opportunity. The market value, the valuation for investing into the host token is currently at $23 million. I don't believe that Hospitable is worth $25 million for a company at $7 million annual revenue. And that's basically operating as a bootstrap company. So that means profitable or very break even. So yeah, I wanted to give it a shout for people who have not considered that in the past and for people who were not aware of this yesterday or in the past few weeks, that you can invest into Hospitable Inc. And now you will be able to get access to my WhatsApp. Again, not saying this is a particular feature. So you have the QR code here to join the website and go through the steps to get access to all those things. Thank you very much.
At the risk of opening up a difficult conversation, we have a lot of Americans in the audience. Is there anything particular for the Americans watching about investing in Hospitable that they should know?
Andre is very attached to this, and rightly so. So indeed, if you are an American, if you are a US person, you need to be a qualified investor, which means you need to be an accredited investor. And we will need to have evidence of that. We will need you to have your accountant or lawyer to provide us a letter saying that you are indeed fitting the requirements of an accredited investor. Even if you're not an accredited investor, I would still encourage you to sign up because there is another way for us to get funding from our customers, which is actually the one more frequently experienced, which is to do a crowdfunding campaign. When you are on our investment dashboard, you can already say that you would like to invest in the company and not an amount, even if you're not yet an accredited investor. So I would encourage you to do so. As soon as we pass $250,000 of intentions of investments from non-accredited investors, we'll be very happy to launch a crowdfunding campaign for a limited amount of time that would basically help us help all of our customers, including those that are non-accredited, to be investing into Hospitable and get some upside whenever something is happening in the company. Yeah. Andrew in the chat is saying it's only 1 million net worth to be accredited, which is true. It's 1 million net worth outside of your primary home. It's $200,000 of income basically in the past 2 years, and then expectation that you would do the same if you are a single, and 300,000 if you are filing jointly. You're right. It's only 1 million. Like, very lucky to be in that space. Okay, I think we can go on to the next items. The actually interesting one about the product. Yes.
Yeah.
Andrew.
My wife just invested in Hospitable. That's what you want to see. Insider buying is always a strong signal for an investment opportunity. But yes, I digress. Direct updates. There's good news and bad news with Google Vacation Rentals. Unfortunately, it's not great news. Great news, I swear, is next town hall. So what was happening if you participated in last town hall? We were in this like black box where we didn't know we were going to get out, how we were going to get out. It was an issue that was just like tangential. It was a Google Ads thing. We got out of the black box. That started the pricing audit. The pricing audit was not successful, so that's the bad news. But we should be pushing the fix tonight. We've got a very dedicated engineer who is on paternity leave, but is still working because we know how important it is for you guys to get access to Google Vacation Rentals. So I will be monitoring that in the morning. We need 3 days of perfect data before it's live. Otherwise, we've got about 1,200 properties already signed up. And as soon as we get 3 clear days, we go live. So again, we're close. I'm sorry we've done such a bad job about giving you an ETA on this. There was a lot of learning as we went and a lot of things kind of out of our control. But the good news is now it's in our control. So we can solve it. Hopefully it's solved tomorrow morning. If it's not, it'll be solved the day after. So we're on it. Next slide, please. And otherwise, what's new for direct basic customers, you now have Instant Book 2. We rolled that out for premium probably a good month ago. Premium has the benefit of being able to use the guest vetting. So we'll only allow you to auto accept if it's a green vetting on AutoHost. Direct Basic, you don't have that capability, so you need to be a little bit more careful. If you do turn that on, both of you, both Basic and Premium, you have a condition that you can disable it for last minute reservations. So yeah, if you don't want to auto accept reservations within say 3 days, 4 days, 5 days before check-in, that's a configuration you can do now. So go ahead and set that up if that applies to you. But otherwise, yeah, with Direct Basic, just be a little bit careful because you are going to auto accept reservations. And if you end up wanting to cancel, then you're covering your own payment processing fees on Stripe and whatnot. So something to consider, but it was an asked for feature. And I know a few hosts that were very happy for us to get that turned on for Direct Basic. Otherwise, some small updates, like cancellation policies. We added a new condition kind of recently for the after booking, similar to Instant Book, sorry, where you can disable your after booking cancellation policy if it's a last minute booking. So you want your reservations to be 100% refundable up to 48 hours after the booking is accepted, but not if it's a last minute booking. That's visible. And we improve just the clarity of that in the inbox. So as a host, when you're in the inbox with a reservation and checking on what the relevant policy is governing your reservation, that looks a lot clearer now. And the last thing is the alterations. This has been an ongoing effort. There were several things going on with alterations that caused a lot of frustration with our host. We are sorry about that. The last one, I think, was really just edge cases for people near the date line on time zones. We had a time zone issue and we got that fixed today. So next up, what we're working on now, we will have an all new payout history page for you tomorrow. That's going to give you a lot more visibility on the life cycle of a transaction. So from the accepted event to any cancellations, any adjustments that happen, any cancellation refunds, etc. We're going to link to the inbox so you can check, on the status of that booking, and it's just a lot prettier. We're going to give you some stats too, so you're going to see your current so just the amount of payments that you have waiting for you, your payouts over the last 30 days, and your expected payouts over the next 30 days. So big improvement there. Look for that tomorrow. Otherwise, we're working on improving direct plan selection. We have a new plan for hosts that have properties in non-Stripe supported regions. So again, we've had 2 plans so far, Basic and Premium. Basic has been anywhere that Stripe is supported, which is only 38 countries to be fair, and Premium has only been in the US and Australia. So if you're outside of those regions, what do you do? Well, we're going to give you something called Direct Lite, and that is just paying for the site. The sites do have a cost for us. So you're not going to get payment processing until we have another payment provider that supports your region. Until then, you can keep your direct site as basically a request to book function. So that's called Direct Lite. And then adjustments are the next part for that. So that's for ad hoc refunds and fees. That's in work now. And it's hopefully going to go, well, I shouldn't say ETA just yet, but we've got a very nice implementation for it. It should be pretty quick for us to do, where you can add refunds and fees. Otherwise, we're looking at multi-property search. That's a big project. It is now in progress with one of our new direct team members who is taking the lead on that. That means basically for people that have more than one property and your guests want to search availability across all of your properties, not one by one, of course. that will be possible. So that's a big project again, but it's in progress now. And then we are working on establishing Hospitable Canada, which would allow us to open direct premium Canada, and soon to follow after that, direct premium in the UK. So hopefully we have some good news on direct premium Canada. Then the next kind of 4 to 8 weeks, we'll see how long it takes for company registration and the rollout with the payment processor. Okay. And otherwise, moving forward, after we've got that near-term roadmap done, a couple of things to look forward to. Early September, you're going to see an improvement for payment processing for Direct Basic. Stripe has a new feature coming out that's going to be what they call an accelerated checkout called Link that will go live September 5th. As we mentioned in the last town hall, we are removing the ability to have sites without payment processing. If you are in an area supported by Stripe or Direct Premium, we are expecting you to add payment processing. All of our upcoming roadmap is based on payment processing, and we really need to be able to move faster. So if you do have this like legacy window where you set up a site before payment processing was live, you need to go ahead and make a decision whether or not you want to use Direct, or we're going to unpublish your site, unfortunately. So that's going to happen September 15th. So please take a look at that if you haven't. If you haven't signed up for Direct yet and you have a site, that will get unpublished September 15th, unless you decide to join us and start supporting Direct. And there's lots of new features, lots of good reasons to join. And those are upcoming features, quotes, one of our most requested features. We're actually unblocking a lot of the work for that with the adjustments. So as we do adjustments, we're doing a lot of the work for quotes as well. So that will hopefully be pretty quick after that. And then something that a lot of hosts have brought to our attention recently is optimizing for big payments, for payments with a long lead time, and for midterm stays. So a lot of that is also kind of shared functionality of, being able to break out things into multiple payments, having people, make a deposit up front and then pay 30 days out. Those are all things that, we totally understand the pain point of not having that now. And we're going to try and get to that as soon as possible. And that's all for Direct. I'll see you again in the Q&A. Emily?
Cool. Hey. All right, I'll start with a quick smart lock update, focusing first on an update on the Schlage migration. So as you know, we've been in the process for several months of migrating everyone from our old Schlage migration, which we had partnered with an integrating partner with that we have since moved on from, to a new Schlage integration. The migration is going really well. We only have a little over 600 hosts who still need to migrate. If you're wondering if that's you, you will know. One, you'll see this big pink banner in your account prompting you to start the migration process, and you should have received an email, I think yesterday, and you'll be getting many more of those in the coming days because migration is required by August 30th. If you haven't moved over to the new Schlage migration by the 31st, your integration will be removed. Not a big deal. You can always reconnect, but we don't want you to feel like you're in an urgent situation on August 31st getting your locks reconnected. So please do migrate before the 30th if you've been prompted to do so. Next slide. Let's talk about some new smart lock integrations that we have. I created this slide before we started Town Hall, and I was going to tell you that SmartThings was launching this week, but I see a message in Slack right now that it's actually launched at 12:12. So that's incorrect, but it's good because SmartThings is now available to all of our users. This has been an integration that we've had sitting in beta for a long time, and we just didn't have the resources dedicated to taking it out of beta and fixing some of those lingering bugs. But now we do, with Danny having joined our team, joining Chris, our Smart Locks team is really rounded out and making a ton of progress. So SmartThings is available to all of you now. Just a point of clarification here, this is specifically a smart lock integration. So yes, there are other SmartThings supported devices, but this is specifically for their smart locks, not any of their other smart devices. Next, we have Nuki and Igloo. We're planning on starting a private pilot with some of you guys who have expressed interest in joining that later next week. So this is also exciting. We'll be going through a private pilot to test out those integrations, then we move those into beta, and then again to our general audience. And I think we see ourselves being able to move a lot faster here now that our team is rounded out and we're kind of getting past the Schlage issues that we had seen in the past. All right, on to a couple more improvements, starting with some channel connectivity things. So past several months, we've been reporting a lot on Verbo, and I'm going to be moving on from that and start reporting now on Booking.com updates. So improvements are underway. But I do want to be clear, this is kind of going to be happening in 3 phases, and you're not always going to feel the benefit super quickly. So I want to let you know what we're doing so that you know how we're kind of prioritizing this. The first thing we have to do is upgrade our API. This is something that has to happen, and it has to happen in the next couple of weeks, but you're not going to notice anything from that. But it sets the stage for us to be able to make other API improvements, including implementing their messaging API. This is what's going to solve the messaging issues that you guys have been reporting for a while now. So that's coming in phase 2. We'll hopefully get started on that sometime in September. And then that allows us to move on to the next phase where we can really improve the experience with the connection flow. So a lot of you guys who are already experiencing issues with Booking.com have connected a long time ago. So unfortunately, you don't get the benefit from this, but for newer hosts who haven't yet connected Booking.com, the process is going to be so much simpler. We're not going to have to ask you 10 million questions and require all this stuff from you. It'll be a lot smoother connection process. So we're excited to roll that out as kind of the third phase of the Booking.com updates that we're working on next. Next, we changed the home of our changelog. So we were looking into this and realized that not a lot of you guys look at our changelog, and maybe that's okay, but we want to make sure that you have this available to you easily if you want to know what's new in the product, because we're pushing stuff daily, multiple times a week. And now you can see it. So in the bottom right in Hospitable, you see the little Hospitable icon. If you click on that, click on news, and we're publishing little news items anytime we make an update to the product. This also lives kind of separately at changelog.hospitable.com as well. So you can stay tuned with all our updates in more real time instead of waiting for each town hall. You can see them happen as they come. And last but not least, okay, so Luke hinted at this at the beginning, so you may have heard. We have made the decision to start focusing on parent-child. It's been a huge request ever since I started, and we've always just kind of said, later, we'll get to that. Now is the time for us to get to that. So I see all the hand clapping reactions, yay. Okay, so to be clear, right now we're very much in like the research, discovery, design phase. This is a really big project. It touches almost every single page of our app in one way or another. So we're being very careful about how we approach this. So I want to ask you guys a question. We have a poll. Miles, if you can launch the poll. It is very difficult to type these questions because parent-child is kind of difficult to get across. So I'm going to kind of explain what these answers mean and give you guys a chance to absorb and answer them so we can kind of use this for our research. So when we talk about parent-child, in conversations I've had with hosts, they often think of 2 different strategies. Some people use both, some people use one, some people don't know of the other one. And so I wanted to get y'all's feedback. What parent-child strategy do you employ to maximize bookings at your property? So the first one is kind of like the typical example of a duplex. You've got one property and it has 2 sides, and you can rent them independently, and they can be rented at the same exact time. So that's the first option, where the children can be booked at the same time. The next strategy is that the children cannot be booked at the same time. So this is another strategy that a lot of people use to maybe increase the likelihood that they get weekday bookings. They might have a huge house that's like 10 bedrooms, but on weekdays, they make it available instead as a 2-bedroom house to see if maybe they can get some people in there for business travel. And so in that situation, the child properties cannot be booked at the same time. So that's the example there. Then we have an option for using both and an option for not using the strategy at all. So yeah, tell us what you think in the poll, and we'll see how our hosts are using this.
We'll just give 30 seconds for people to answer after your explanation.
Cool. I feel like next time we do a poll, we need to be prepared with some sort of filler thing. I just started dancing, and that's very dangerous.
Someone put some music on for Emily.
Don't.
Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, we've got 56% of people have responded, so I think we can call it there.
Cool. Let's see
Sharing
what you
results.
said. Interesting. Okay. Wow. Okay. Awesome. So a lot of people not using it at all, which I think is pretty normal, but for those that do, it seems to be really important. Most people are doing it probably in the typical sense where it's like a duplex, but a good percentage are using both. So that's really, really good to know. Cool. Thank you guys for answering that poll. We can move on to general Q&A now.
Cool. Thank you very much, Emily, and thank you, audience. Great. Yeah. So moving on to the Q&A section. So as always, you can use the reaction button at the bottom, and then in there is a raise hand button if you'd like to come on stage and ask your question. We already have a few people waiting, so we're going to go straight to Nate here and see what question they have. Hello, Nate.
Hey, how you doing? So last time we did this, I think I asked Andrew about the taxes stuff. This is something I want to leverage. I think Andrew, you mentioned that because you're the merchant of record for, I guess the booking itself, taxes you had to take out automatically. I'm wondering, one of the things that I'm missing in terms of like the basic is that kind of post insurance, the thing that Airbnb provides most of the air cover or whatever it's called. There's some companies that do this on an ad hoc basis where you can send it to the guest and say, hey, buy this. I know Verbo does it where the guest can pay like $50 or $100 or whatever.
Mhm.
Is there any plan for you guys to integrate with some provider, right, that allows hosts like myself who want to use direct booking, integration for like that kind of coverage aspect?
Yeah, so I'm having a little trouble hearing. You said like damage protection, right?
Yeah, essentially like the damage
Okay.
protection, and really less with the damage, but more like the liability protection that like air cover offers, right?
Okay.
If like a guest decides to yeet himself off the top floor, you're not liable, right? Or at least the coverage will kick in.
Okay.
Is there any kind of plan or something in the books to kind of offer that, similar to the way I see it, like similar to how we have like the small block integrations, right? Once it's books instead of it being like kind of a Wild West for at least the basic, for us to be able to have that.
Yeah. So I mean, basic, you're able to use. I mean, I don't even think you're required to have integrations to use them. But yeah, we're working on integrations now with, I think, Safely and Superhog for non-direct premium customers. So you would be able to, hopefully quite soon, use some of the messaging shortcodes, to send like a unique link for them to process some kind of coverage for you. On the premium side, that's all integrated, but it doesn't include liability coverage. So we're also considering, moving forward, looking at different vendor options for premium customers too. Like if they prefer to use Safely, I believe they have liability protection in addition to like damage protection that we have with Superhog. We're also looking at damage deposits, damage waivers. There's a lot of roadmap for us to improve the amount of choices you have as a host and improve the protections as well. So I don't think you're blocked on direct basic. You might not have everything integrated working in the same place, but you can definitely become a Superhog or a Safely customer without requiring an integration from us. It'll work better once we get the integration running. The premium is always an option too if you prefer to have it implemented, but that is $5 million of damage protection only, which is damage to your possessions. I think shared possessions, you have to prove some damage is not liability.
I mean, I'd love to use premium, but
I think it's kind of your signal's breaking up, Nate.
I would love to use the.
Yeah, sorry, Nate. I think we're going to have to cut you off because we can't really hear you. Maybe you can let us know in the chat.
If you type out in the Q&A, we can answer it live too later once you get your question in.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that, Nate. Couldn't hear you, so please let us know over text. Inviting now on stage, Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Hang on. I'm listening to Grateful Dead. I have to pause. Are you there, Andrew?
He is indeed. He's ready for you.
You'd like to talk to me? Okay.
Baby girl. No, not my dog. Yes, she did.
You can leave the dead on in that case. I'm okay with that.
So, right, I know. It was Black-Throated Wind, so it was also Bob Weir and Jurgers. Crushing. So I have a very specific question about promo codes.
Okay.
So I really want to start using them And I was on the call that you guys did a few weeks ago, whatever. Right, about 2-3 weeks ago, and you said no percentages yet, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Got that.
Still no.
I understood it. I got it. We're not doing percentages. Blah, blah,
Not
blah,
yet.
blah, blah. But I did go research the promo code area as if I was going to set one.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran into a situation where I wanted to set up a promo code, but it asked me if I wanted to limit to a number of uses. And I didn't know if that was per guest or just period. Like just open it. Like if I put like 3 in there, like anyone that the code can use it 3 times. Or if I put 20 in there, 20 different people use it is done.
Yep. Understood. Yeah, that's the total number of usages. So if you want to run, like $100 promo and you don't want it to be used more than 1,000 times total, then you put 1,000 in there. It's
all
not
right,
per
so
guest.
it's not guest specific.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know that before I put it out there. All right, thank you so much. I have no complaints.
No
Thank you
worries.
so much.
That was a very specific question. And we do keep having percentage promo codes asked for by guests. I was on an office hour call today with someone that wanted it. Just explain the same thing, is that we are going to do it. It's just we wanted to get some form of promo codes out first, switch to some other very high priority issues that I think like quotes and adjustments that are a bigger priority, and then we'll come back to percentages. We know it's important to host, and we will get there. Yeah.
I'm not really care about percentage, but one more question, please.
Since you're still here, go on, make it quick.
Yeah, so my dog is amazing. So I want to send a promo code out for like no pet fee if you put hashtag Nesta.
Okay.
So is there a way to code promo code to something like a pet fee, or no? Is that not possible?
I think you would make it for the value of your pet fee in that case. But yeah, we don't do pet fees right now with Direct. That is a pending item as well. They're not really managed. So yeah, when we do them, your question is, would we you could link a code to a fee? That's not a bad idea, actually. We can look into that.
And the truth is, like, I value my repeat people so much. I mean, I don't even give my Hospitable like direct site or anything. Like, you have to come through VRB or Airbnb and not be a pain in the butt before you get on the email list. Do you understand that? Like, so I'm like constantly, I'm just like, no pet fee. If you're already on our list, like no pet fee. So,
Okay. No, that's good feedback. Thanks for sharing that idea. And
all right, thank you,
we'll let you get back to the Grateful Dead.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Andrew. So now next up, we have Derek. Welcoming you on stage, Derek, now. Hello.
Hello. Hey, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, just Pierre was talking about the ability to invest. So I think you hosts are crazy not to at least sign up and look at it. I just, like, what you guys are doing, I think is so rare to give this level of transparency in building the community. And I think, Pierre's talked about it a few times. Now, in full transparency, I've made investments. So if you invest, the token goes up a little bit, but I don't really care about the share of the token going up from 5 to 6 or 7. I think it's significantly undervalued. And as hosts, most of us are entrepreneurs. I think you should really take a look at it and not regret down the road that you don't at least take a look at it. So that's, I don't know, PSA, just supporting as I looked in. So I've put maybe 3 investments in, not a significant amount, but I think there's a pretty low threshold. I think when most people hear and think investment, they think, there's minimum $50,000, $100,000. So I'm just reinforcing what Pierre mentioned. I think what makes Hospitable unique for me is the community that you guys have created. I've learned a lot just sitting on the town halls. And I think if we all can benefit from your success, I think it'll just tighten the community a little bit more. So that's my PSA. Just thanks for everything you guys are doing and keep up the great work.
Thank you very much, Derek. I'm waiting forward to your next investment. So since I talked about that, we have $60,000 of investment that have been signed so far. So thank you so much. And you are right, you can invest actually starting from $2,500. Just look at the industry that we're in, look at what's been making the headlines in that particular industry on the vacation rental management software and all. there is a particular moment, and I find I just want to build this company with our customers, not with, sorry, Miles, but more marketing budget to say how much we care about our customers. Yes, we do, but we advertise on facts. And so that really is what I'm particularly excited about. It creates really a pool of ambassadors that we can rely on for feedback and for building this thing together. So thank you, Derek, for chatting this. And yeah, just to, so we're serious about it. If basically those investments are materialized, that would mean we passed $1 million fundraise from customers. So that's quite the milestone as well that would have reached.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much for the kind words, Derek. And now we have Lauren, inviting you on stage now, Lauren. Hello, how are you?
Hello, thanks for having me. So I had two quick comments / questions, I guess. One, I actually brought this up with Emily already, so it may already be on your radar, but if so, I'd like to get an update. There's a problem with both the Turno integration and the Hospitable tasks feature with if someone cancels a booking after they've checked in, which is a fairly common occurrence actually for whatever reason, the cleaning job also gets canceled. And so I've had several times where people have checked into a dirty house because the cleaning job that was supposed to be there got canceled. So I would love to have to me, I think that the best way to handle that is just by default block off the night before, or sorry, block off the night that they cancel and then create a cleaning job for like the next day. But that's definitely a pretty significant pain point for me. So I'd like to make sure that that's on your radar as something hopefully you can address in how it functions with the task feature. The other issue that I had is, I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but I'm not getting booking.com messages in Hospitable until I have a confirmed reservation. And so I just wanted to see if there was an update on that.
Yep. Yeah, I think Emily did mention like the booking.com stuff that we're working on currently. And the second phase of that is a complete overhaul of how messaging works. We have been using the like special request contact before. That is no longer the standard. And so we're hoping to have an update for that as soon as possible.
Is that why? Because like in the past, I was getting messages and now I'm not. So is that?
Yeah. No, they kind of deprecated that without really communicating that so well.
Okay.
So yeah, we need to refactor how our system works, and there should be a lot of improvements when that's done. Though it'll be a much better messaging experience. So yeah, that's in progress. And then the item with Turno, I'd have to look. I think yeah, we've definitely captured that. Emily has been talking about that internally, and it might be a Turno feature that we need to work with them to get fixed.
Well, I don't use Turno anymore either, because I mean
Okay.
the same behavior happens with internal. I don't really care about Turno, honestly. I hate Turno, but the same thing happens with Hospitable tasks. If a reservation gets canceled, it doesn't matter at what point in the journey it gets canceled. If it gets canceled, the cleaning task is deleted.
No, that makes total sense. That's excellent feedback. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you very much, Laura. Okay, we don't actually have any more hands raised at the moment. Pierre, I see you typing in response to an investor question. I don't know if that makes sense for you to answer on stage for a few more people to hear the answer.
I'm happy to. So we have two questions that basically are currently pending. So Victoria is saying, I agree with Derek. Thank you. I don't meet the criteria to be an accredited investor. Are there any other options for someone like me who could invest the $5,000? So again, the minimum is $2,500, but if you're an accredited investor, you're probably in a bit of a situation where it's less painful. So I would still encourage you to go to the portal and just basically complete what will be your investment intention. This is just the start of our effort to fundraise from customers directly. And what we want to do later is a proper crowdfunding campaign. The thing is that a crowdfunding campaign is a one-off moment. It has to be timed, etc. So there needs to be a bit of a commitment from customers who are not accredited investors or would like to invest a lower amount than the current minimum of $2,500 to basically start launching this crowdfunding campaign. So if you can do that now, we want to be able to have everyone, properly everyone, to be able to invest if they so want. So I would just ask to include your investment intention on the investment portal, so invest.hospitable.com, after you say that you are not an accredited investor. And Stephanie is asking, can we make investment contribution via each transaction? Unfortunately, no. There is a lot of laws that need to be complied with in relation with investments, and our product is very different from basically the investment portal. I think that should really remain this way. So this is not something that we'll be able to accomplish at this point in time. However, I was just again talking to an investor, is that for people that can invest, that are accredited investors, it's not because you can invest several times. And so that's what, for example, is the case from Derek, and that's the case from other people that have been investing into the company. They can start small and they basically invest as they receive more updates on the growth and projects of the company. Which is also quite unique, is that normally you require big commits from equity investors. Here, this is just, as easy peasy, just invest the smallest amount, make sure obviously that you know what you're investing into. In the case, that's our business, but you can basically grow your investment with the growth of the company as well. That's what I would say.
I just wanted to add one follow-up from the Superhog conversation we had earlier and getting damage protection. We did have someone in the Q&A shout, thank you, Adam, that they're already doing that and it works great. They have a scheduled message that goes out with a link for all of their platforms, actually, not just for direct bookings, for direct basic bookings. So yeah, that is something that you can set up with direct basic.
Great. Thank you, Andrew. We've got 3 minutes left. There is time for one more question. If anyone has another question, feel free to raise your hand or drop it in the Q&A. The first person that does so will be picked.
I saw several questions that I answered privately in the Q&A for Google Vacation Rentals. How do I get on it? Sorry, I did kind of gloss over that earlier. It has been covered in previous town halls, but good to mention again. So it's available to anyone that has a direct basic or direct premium setup. That means you have a subscription, you've got a published Hospitable site, and you have a payout method set up. And once you do that, your only requirements then to make sure you comply with Google's like image and content. So those are, most people are probably already compliant. They have like 9 different photos that are required. You'll get more information about that from the channel section of Direct. So if you go to Hospitable, open Direct, and then click on the channel button, there you can start to scope your properties for Google. They'll get ingested into the system, they'll get reviewed. And then as soon as that pricing audit is successful, they'll go live. So anyone with a direct subscription can get that set up now.
Cool. Thank you very much, Andrew. And we've had no further questions or no further hand raises. There is one more, Q&A question around crowdfunding. I don't think the limits on crowdfunding have been set yet. I think PC, you can add to that.
So I'm not sure what it refers to. We want to launch a crowdfunding campaign, and for that, I need you to basically, even if you're not an accredited investor in the US, to enter the amount that you would like to invest. And as soon as that reaches $250,000, we can start looking into a proper crowdfunding campaign that's going to be compliant. For the current fundraising, that's not a crowdfunding campaign. It is a crowdfunding, but basically it's a different regulation of the SEC that's being followed. And so there is no, this is something that started in 2021, and we keep it rolling. That's a rolling safe contract. We keep it rolling, we keep it running for as long as possible. And we really want to keep it want to keep that instrument for decades if we can. And we really want.
Cool. Thank you. So I think that is it for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, everyone. Link for investment, invest.hospitable.com, invest.hospitable.com. Sorry, we talked a lot about this, but it seems that it was interesting and got a few engagements. So thank you very much for your trust. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day and see you in 2 weeks for another tunnel. Miles, I will be the one moderating it, right?
No, you won't be. I'll moderate that one, the one afterwards. So, yeah, look forward to that, everyone.
This promises to be hectic. Again, not a feature. Thank you, everyone. Have a